Another week, another episode, another big potential market on Mad About Markets. Hi Ritu, how are you doing?
I'm good, Mangalam. So why don't we tell the viewers how we arrive at these markets that we're talking about?
Absolutely, because that is the question that we get asked very often. How is it that you all
do?
decide? Yes, we do. Well, at least I do. How is it that you all decide upon the topic? So I thought, might as well just, put it down on a piece of paper, or in this case, these graphics to just tell you what exactly are we looking at when we think of markets. The first thing that we look at is recent growth rate. Is it respectable, double digit or no? Secondly, has there been any underlying change in demand trends as a result of which there could be case for the unorganized market to shift into organized? And that's marked by a lot of entry of newer players. So as a result of all these things, growth in that market accelerates, and India's natural advantage is what we look at every time when we're thinking of deciding upon a topic to talk about a big potential market. So our thesis or metrics laid down threadbare for you.
Well, the secret's out, so let's get on with it. While we were going nuts thinking about these potential markets, we realized nuts itself is a potential market today. And now let's get you the good stuff. Now, India's dry fruit market was growing at a snappy 10 to 12% compounded growth rate, and this was before the pandemic. And Indian folks like you and me have now developed a taste for healthy snacking post the pandemic because we're all a lot more conscious. And guess what? Branded players are still less than 10% of the whole pie. So your Tata Consumer, Happy-Lo, Open Secret, Tulsi, ITC, Reliance, DMart, they've all jumped into this game because they also realize the potential. And these players believe that they can grow not by 1, but by 2 to 3 times annually. Now, that is some serious nutty ambition. India's love for dry fruits is really no joke. We are the second largest consumers of peanuts, almonds, and cashews. We're also the third largest consumers of dried grapes and raisins, the fourth largest for dried figs, 6th for walnuts, and 7th as far as dates are concerned.
That's a whole lot of nuts that all of us consume. And
so much. I did not know.
And it's only raisin the bar. You get it? You get it? No, I'm sorry. All right. But up until now, if you just take a look at the way dry fruits was sold, it's not particularly the best way, because so far what we've seen is the market was largely unorganized, over 90%, and sourcing has been an issue, as a result of which both quality and hygiene have often been an unsolved mystery. Most of the sales have happened by local stores itself, and limited product options had consumers feeling a bit nuts. All you had were basic dry fruits itself. And to top it all, it's mostly driven by personal relations with customers. Everyone has their own dry fruit seller. But all of that is about to change. And that change is in the air, with organized, larger players coming in India's dry fruit market. In fact, we're not saying it. Sunil D'Souza of Tata Consumer emphasizes the market growth potential.
My annual run rate is about 40 to 50 crores, just online. And the big business for dry fruits is offline. I've just got to make sure I modify my packaging, my marketing mix, and make sure I provide the packages which the retailers want. We've just about started working with, we'll go to modern trade first and then to general trade. I would say doubling every year, tripling every year shouldn't be a challenge.
All right, doubling every year and tripling every year shouldn't be a challenge, said by Sunil D'Souza of Tata Consumer. So what are these forces which are propelling the growth path? One, we Indians have an insatiable love for snacking. Twice a day, or at least once a day, we're a nation of snackaholics. And we're just not any snackaholics, we're health-conscious snackaholics. We're always on the lookout for healthy options. You're looking at people, who are looking for healthy options, 41% of them as per a Mintel survey. And we look to satisfy our cravings across the board through these healthy options itself. In the metros and tier 1 cities, a staggering 57% of customers are looking to choose healthy snacking option. And even beyond, in tier 2 and beyond, there is a solid 35% people who are looking at healthy snacking. In fact, Tata Consumer, Happy-Lo, Open Secret, Tulsi, ITC, Reliance, as well as DMart, all of them have now hopped onto this healthy snacking dry fruit bandwagon. It's like a race to crack the nuttiest success recipe.
We still love our samosas and jalebis, but yes, a lot of us are now trying to join this healthy bandwagon. On that note, let me invite on the show our guest, Deepika Bhan, who is the president of Packaged Foods, Tata Consumer Products, as well as Vikas Nahar, who is the founder and CEO of Happilo. Now, they are a health food brand which was founded in 2016 and is headquartered in Bengaluru. Deepika, let me start with you. You know, when you decided to enter this dry fruit market, what were your thoughts? I mean, why enter something like this? How large do you think it could be?
You know, we are really energized about the fact that this is another really large consumer category that is yet to be organized. We know that the dry fruit segment is quite large. 9,000 crores is really just the consumer market. The commercial market is much larger. Even that consumer market is largely unbranded. So the ability to be able to help the consumer in her purchase is really what energized us. We know that dry fruit is actually a pretty expensive purchase, right, for any consumer as one of the kitchen products that you buy. And for such a high involvement category, you know, the ability of brands to really guide consumers exists. So that's what energized us.
All right, and let's go across to Vikas as well. Because of all the ideas you could have had in the startup world, again, why dry fruit market? Why do you decide that?
See, dry fruit is an age-old wisdom, right? That it's nutritious for the body and good for you. Only thing is the accessibility and the availability was a problem earlier, and also the affordability per se. And it was not focused, kind of very unorganized, and there's no branded player existed. So I thought every city has 2-3 dry fruit stores which are prominent dry fruit sellers. I thought there's no nationwide brand. So my aspiration was to build a nationwide dry fruit snack brand to fulfill the nation's nutrition needs and bring more convenience and affordability to the segment.
Well, you have both established and younger players eyeing this market. Deepika, can you throw some light on the economics of all of this? What are the margins you work with? What are the packagings like? The channels through which you sell, is it more online, more offline? Give us a sense.
I think, see, overall, like most large pantry or commodity categories, it's obviously, you've got to run really cost effective to make good margins. So that carries through even to dry fruit. But it's very clear that there are a few large segments. For example, almond is the largest segment. You are seeing newer categories like seeds now gradually come in as well. These categories talk to more leading edge consumers and therefore offer you a bit greater margin as well. In terms of the SKUs, most of the category is actually bought in reasonable bulk. So India as a country is still buying dry fruit more as bulk, and the on the go or the snacking, which we're all very used to seeing in international markets, is still to develop. So I think where the category is right now, it's still very core, as would be the case in a category that's still evolving into branded, because we spoke about the size a while earlier. We said it's about 9,000 crores, the consumer part. Of that, less than 15-20% is branded. So it currently operates as a very core category. We are beginning to see subcategories like, the lesser dry fruits like walnuts or seeds more so, as well as flavored start to kick in now. So I think we're at a very early stage in the category, and we will see it really evolve in the years to come.
Deepika, Vikas, just hang in there. We'll come back to you in just a bit, because we're talking about the digital wonders and the digital land that we're talking about.
And
e-commerce, Q-commerce, all
yes.
of that. Why should dry fruits, be sold only in your local kiranas?
Yeah, because we often don't buy a kilo of dry fruits at a time, right? You might just want to go to your kirana store and buy a handful of nuts here, a handful of nuts there.
There's so many nuts to choose from. But having said that, e-commerce, quick commerce, all of that has made branded dry fruit consumption pretty convenient. It comes to your house and in the pack sizes that you want as well. And why just a handful of nuts here and there separately? You just buy them all together, because there are so many products which are different now. You have healthy trail mixes, extremely tasty, standardization of quality throughout the year. They're GMO free, high protein, non-fried options, what have you. All these varieties taking the market by storm, and you have flavored nuts, etc. All of that as well. I mean,
well, some of us still like to make our own trail mixes, but be that as it may, the market that you're talking about, it's grown significantly. So let us talk numbers. In FY21, this market was valued at 22,000 crore rupees. But hold on to your almonds again, because by FY30, we're expecting it to reach all the way to 51,800 crore rupees. But Mangalam, let's also talk about the brand wagon of these dry fruit markets. Where do things stand?
We're speaking about the unorganized to branded shift, right?
As we always do.
22,000 crore market has just 5% of the branded component on it. That grows a lot faster. And as we look at it, by somewhere in the middle of this decade, it will become 8%. That's FY25. And by the end of this decade, by FY30, the branded component of the 52,000 crore market that you just spoke about would be 12%. So that's obviously growing a lot faster.
Well, this branded dry fruit market that we're talking about, it is expected to witness an impressive 18 to 20% compounded annual growth rate. And in an FY23 itself, we're looking at 1,500 crore rupees. But by FY30, it could reach a cracking 6,200 crore rupees.
6,000 crore rupees. That's some number. In fact, more than 12%, or rather around 11 to 12% of the overall organized market that you spoke about. But a lot of people are entering this space as well. Let's go back to Deepika. Deepika, it is a competitive space. How does a company like yours navigate through this? You're just one of them. We have Happilo, a large number of other players looking at it too.
I think what I've learned is in categories that are trying to do consumer habit shifts, it's good if there's more players in and we're trying to help the consumer switch over to branded. So I think it's a really large opportunity. There's enough market for everybody. I think ultimately in any FMCG product, it comes down to how well you can ensure that you build the brand. And I think that Tata Sampann is quite well placed owing to the Tata brand and the large play that we have in our staples business with the consumer familiarity. So really to operate in categories where the consumer needs a reassurance on trust and quality gives us a very natural edge. See, we must remember that at the end of the day, why do you eat a dry fruit? Right? A dry fruit is, you don't buy it because almonds are tasty. You buy a dry fruit because it's fundamentally a health purchase. It's a wellness purchase. And so therefore the quality of the product is above all. And we do have a natural edge, both in terms of the brand appeal, that we will not compromise on our quality, and also in terms of the real delivered product experience. It takes a lot of effort. If you were to ask me about challenges, one of our biggest challenges is to ensure that we give the right consistent quality of product through the year to the consumer.
But, Vikas, in a market where you have the likes of Deepika, people with deep pockets, Tatas in the business as well, for young companies like you, how much do you have to spend annually on brand building?
We close to spend $6 to $7 million on brand building because the category itself is very unorganized and there's no brand per se. So we have the advantage of being that first brand to build it larger than life, and not only be a player which is prominent for the region. We honestly want to be prominent for every season across the nation, and now we have aspiration to build it across the world.
And we see that on all the advertisements that you do and the jersey that you're wearing as well, Vikas. But Deepika, what's Tata Consumer's numbers been on this space like? Sunil D'Souza earlier said the annual run rate was around 50 crores, looking to double, triple over the next couple of years. What are the latest numbers here?
We are seeing really explosive growth in the segment. We don't talk as much in percentage growth, more that can we get a multiple on our current business. Remember that we are currently present only at the top end. So we currently play largely in e-commerce, and we're just about starting a bit of a pilot to see how the MVP sticks in general trade. So I think that, the opportunity is immense. We're seeing very healthy growths, but it's not where we are now. It's a really large category. So I would look at a multiplier.
Well, the opportunity is immense. But Vikas, for you, what is the current run rate and how are you expecting growth going forward for the business?
We are at an ARR of, say, 500 crores currently, and we want to build it to 2,000 crores in the next 12 to 18 months.
Wow, from 500 crores to 2,000 crores in the next 12 to 18 months. Vikas, I'm tempted to ask, are you profitable? I mean, what's the sales mix for you? How much of that comes from retail and institution?
See, we are profitable at the CM2 level, except the ATLs, what we do for brand building, maybe taking the likes of Kiara, Siddharth, and doing a lot of TV advertisements and or spending on IPL in terms of sponsorship on RCB or Rajasthan Royals. Other than that, we are actually a very profitable company at the product level, at the CM1, CM2 level. Except the ATL part of it. And other than that, I think if you talk about the institution mix, it's largely, we are e-commerce company first. So we built our company largely on e-commerce initially. Then we expanded to the modern trades and the general trades of the world. So a lot of business comes from general trade, modern trade, and but still e-commerce is a dominant category in terms of percentage.
It's a good time to take a small little snack break. Come back on the other side. We discuss the nuts and bolts of India's dry fruit industry.
And as always, we're going to ask the bigger question, and that is the dry fruit industry crunchy enough just yet? That and more when we return.